Hi there. You're just looking out of Balfron Tower. Sorry about the glare of the flashlight. Onto St Leonard's Road. There are the Docklands. Tall buildings. Canary Wharf. And lots of red lights. You can't see them because of the flash. So this is solid wood, lovely white enamel paint over and over again, all sealed here with metal strips. And this is double glazing, 1968 double glazing, damask curtains, Peter Jones. Now this is going to be knocked down by a maniac. Now we don't know whether it's the Harker or English Heritage or one of the fuzz kids he's got working on the design of this new wall here. All glass, like a skyscraper with metal. I haven't had a look at it yet. I'll have a look on the website tomorrow. So I live in this flat for 30 years. Now in the neighbouring listed building, Carradale House, he sealed up these lights where you have the cheapest halogen bulbs, and he's put wall lights on that just look down so the poor kids can't do their homework and shine a light on their book. Well, I've got play lights on because I know what to buy. So this is the wall. This door goes out to a balcony, and then we've got a wall between here and the kitchen. Now I've got my bookcase, this cadenza here, it's got drawers on the other side for dishing out food. Up here I've got two pipes, one coming in from the balcony and one going out of the balcony, and it's a heat exchanger, bringing in fresh air out of here. It's been warmed by the stale, moist air going out of there. So I've got fresh air coming in every day, 24 hours a day. The humidity is 64. I can't quite show it to you. There it is, because of the flash. Why can't I show it to you? Yeah, I might be able to show it to you. There we are, 64. 20 degrees. Because I've had my moisture, I forgot what it's called, working, that it's just filled up with water. See all the water down the bottom there? So it stopped working. So dehumidifier. Now this is the heater. There's fans in there that blow the heat out. But they've been replaced with radiators, but thank God the plans are to replace all the radiators. They haven't found out which ones they're going to put in. But with this wall missing, the kitchen's going to be there. And this is going to be standing without a place for the thermostat. And down the bottom there is the plug. Double plug. So I can light everything up, turn all these things on, all my electronic stuff. I won't have a plug for my lights. This wall's going to be knocked down. Now I haven't given permission, planning, because I haven't been consulted. So you must stop their planning application until they consult with me and I give permission. Because they're applying, I guess, to knock down my wall. They expect to decamp me. So I lie here. There's no draft, there's no smells from the kitchen. If people are in there having a meal and talking, I can watch TV, and I'm missing my action program now, having to make this recording for you. This is where I spent all my life. Since 2008, trying to get out of here. The haka refused to pay my money when I sold my flat to them. All these computer programs have all got older and older. I've never used them. This beautiful dining table, you can't see the lizard wood, and I haven't been able to socialise and have parties here. I've been marooned here. Because I've got mods running the freehold. They think they own the flats. They're just freeholders. They think they own them and they can do what they like with them. Now, I have a neighbour who's a builder, and he knocked down this wall here. He didn't move the toilet because he couldn't. Blocked this up. And, well, can you smell that? No, you can't. And so you could see the toilet there. There's no wall, no place for the towel. Mirror. Things to hang your clothes in. A fresh air being taken out by this expel air. Lovely bath just fits in. But he's going to knock this wall out. He's going to knock... Yeah, this is what my neighbour did. He knocked this out. Now, some crazy people have told him to knock this wall out in all the flats and move this toilet a foot over. Well, I've got a spider there. Can you see him? So I've got mites in here and carpet moss because of the high humidity. Now I'll climb up here and you can tell the expel air on the roof that sucks out the stale air should be hissing. Not a sound. They've turned them off. So we've got this high humidity in our flats because we don't have any ventilation. We don't have stale air, smelly, filthy, virus-filled air being sucked out. Now, withholding our ventilation, that's a criminal offence of harassment. It's harassment. These are criminals. They've done it for 5 years. So I have to have the door open to get the smell out. Otherwise I go back in. So I can't have anyone stay with me because of the smell. But they're going to have the smell going into the bathroom, so I can't wash my hands, leave the toilet and leave the smell in there and wash my hands in the fresh air. I'm going to have the smell right next door. But the viruses in the flush will come across the toilet onto my towel. I dry my face and my tongue gets the virus on it and I die. Or get some serious disease because viruses can pass through you without affecting you. But if you put it in your digestive system, they can. And I think he's knocking out the bath. Because to put the toilet in the corner there, he's moving that to the sink to here, and he's putting a shower in the corner. I haven't really looked at it properly. Now these works are meant to be done under decent homes, which is to improve the bath, new one. I've already got a new one. I've got the original sink, new sink, put a new toilet in if they like. I've had to replace the hinge. And do up the cupboards. That's all he has to do, remodel the cupboards. Now I've got a fitted dishwasher, amazing, you must have a dishwasher. Now we've got there's the gas, going to mains, to a riser, and he's put another one on the balcony. We've got 2 gas risers. He got conned by some National Grid guy from Ireland to rebuild them up our balcony. They're poor. And in every 1-bedroom flat, a third of the flats have plastic, metal pipes going around the walls in the bedroom, just off the wallpaper. They'll never be able to wallpaper them again, all the way to the kitchen on the other side. So we need a new sink, new taps, new cupboards. But he's going to knock this wall down. Christ, all my food, my bread making, my larder, I can have this full sometimes when I get a good deal from Tesco's. So I don't have to shop all the time. And drawers. You know, you need drawers and, you know, there's some more food in there. And a place to wheel your washing machine. And a place to put your bread maker and your toaster. And I haven't been able to use them all at once because I'm alone here. I haven't got time to socialise. And for a bachelor, this does everything. Baking, everything. So I got all the drugs. You need to keep your plates and cups and saucers somewhere. Full of frozen meat. All those are meals, all cooked in bulk and frozen up. So the Barbican has a big room with a galley at one end. But this is social housing where you need a place for people to eat and talk, listen to the radio, and for other people to go and sit quietly in the living room or watch TV. It's for 5 people, not a bachelor. They're going to sell them to bachelors around the world who don't want cupboards, who don't want to cook and bake. Where's my bread maker? I've shown you that. Yeah. There's something I haven't shown you. Now, instead of wasting all the money on new walls, paint the walls. They have to be painted every 5 years. And they haven't been painted for 20. And that's the reason they're rebuilding them, because they've let them run down. You fix them up. So the people writing this huge document just want to make a showcase of the building. But it's public money in the end, because it's going to come from rents in the end. So I've got protection by growing these beautiful raspberries. Now they're saying, oh, they don't grow anything in their planters. That's because it's not glazed over. Now you can have 4 sliding glass frames here. So in the summer the 2 by 2 go back, and you'll have 2 to let the sun and the air in. Now in Spain, everyone's glazed their balcony. That's where the money should go. And then I sit out here in the winter. Look, it's warm out here still. I can sit out here in the winter and read my books and have my afternoon tea. I wish I had a friend to talk to. I get to be the most popular guy once I finish them off and get them all locked up for decanting. I'm one of the last dozen people in the building. 150 flats are empty because they've lied, claiming that the works are going to be done in such a way as to harm everybody, because the building's listed. I listed the building to stop them putting in plastic walls. O'Rourke comes along from a listed building, Heritage England, after we switched it back to modular wood, and he switched it back to plastic. And now they're removing the plastic walls from our bedrooms. Tons, hundreds of tons of plastic, PVC walls and windows and frames. Because the plastic goes dirty. Of course it's dirty. It's combustible. It was illegal. It was never given planning permission. Or somebody got kickbacks for wasting our grant from the Highways Agency to sound insulate our bedrooms. Now you can see the original wall there, but from there to there is 10 centimetres of air gap, because this is a piece of perspex I've put over the wall, over the window, and underneath this wall is a new wall I've built, and inside here, and the original wall is padding, is mineral wool. So I've got a 100mm air gap, sound insulated, heat insulated, and because I can't open the windows, I've got a heat exchanger with air being blown in, fresh, dry, warmed air over my bed. I'm living on the top of a mountain when I go to sleep, breathing in fresh filtered air. I have an eyes in the air intake. I can watch TV in bed. It's a special treat on a Sunday. So they're going to knock this wall out. Now, I haven't looked at the specifications. I've asked my architect to, but I bet they won't be giving you sound insulation, because you've got to have at least 10 centimetres of air gap to stop all the sound. Now listen to the sound. See the cars? Little bit of sound. No, you can't hear any sound at all. 90 decibels outside there. Now before I did this, I had to wear earplugs to go to sleep. Now look what's happened to my carpets. They've been eaten by moths. All the grubs, caterpillars, all over. Because of the high humidity, the grubs were able to survive with the water in the carpet, because it condenses in the carpets go wet. And eat my wool rugs. There's holes in there I can show you everywhere. Because they've cut off the ventilation. There's no air going out, keeping the humidity down. We've got crazy people in this world who know nothing. They think they know everything because they steal a job. They think they've got a job and so they must know everything. I'm getting carried away. So yeah, the fire door here is closed. There's a fire in here. And I can't get through this fire, but I can go around this door here, close the fire goes out because it uses up all the oxygen before it burns through this 2-hour door. I can go around here, but if this fills up with smoke, and I don't close that door on time, I can get in here, close this door, and then go out this door to the fresh air on the balcony. But if I don't have a wall here, all the smoke will fill this room up too. But the air won't be burnt up, because there'll be 2 rooms of oxygen. 25% of the air's oxygen. So it will gut both rooms and burn through the windows and let air in. And then it will just be a huge furnace, burn through the doors, burn through the flat and out the top door. But the point of a toilet on its own is to keep the smells in here and have them sucked out that hole. Because there are viruses in the poo, and when the spray goes up, they go up in the mist and land on surfaces. And that's why after you've been to the toilet, you don't touch any surfaces until you've washed your hands. And you have to come into a clean room where you haven't walked from the toilet into the floor here, with viruses from that floor to this floor. Because you're going to get in the bath, get out of the bath, go to your bedroom, and you've got viruses on your fucking feet. What was the point of the bath? Sorry, I should be pointing at that. What was the point of the bath? This leads up to our exit. So if this gets full of smoke, we're trapped. But I'll take you out here. Apart from having walls that will turn this into a towering inferno one night, all made out of PVC, look what we've got here. Now they won't replace my bulb deliberately, but they leave these lights on all during the day. Now this is a fire door. If I rush out of here, and there's smoke here from a fire in a flat, I can push the fire door, run through. That leak's been fixed many times, so I never have to pay for it. And push these two fire doors, but they've been removed. There's no fire door here. Where do I get the button to open it? Here's the button here. I won't see it in the smoke. You live in a dangerous flat. I'm videoing the lack of fire doors. They put an entry door here where there should be fire doors. So when you come running in the smoke, you won't be able to find the...
I don't want to be filmed though.
You won't find this in the smoke. You won't be able to open it. You'll be trapped here in the smoke. It's happened all over Tower Hamlets. People are crazy. What's on here? Parcel for me. Haven't seen you around. You new?
No, you've met me a few times.
Oh, how are you, mate? Sorry, I didn't recognise you.
No, it's okay.
How are things going?
Good, yeah.
Are you leaving?
Me? No, I'm coming home.
No, I mean, are you going to leave the flat, the building?
I mean, eventually, I guess.
You haven't been given a date?
No. Ongoing.
But do you think they'll give you a date to leave? You're with Beau Arts or someone?
I'm Beau Arts, but I've no idea what the... nice
so that... What?
Nice painting.
Yeah, he's a friend, Lord Merryworth. Did it for me. Yeah, the planning's going in tomorrow, and it won't be decided until February.
Yeah.
And if they get the planning permission, then they'll start the process.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be here that long, personally. But...
So is your artwork going well?
Yeah, it's going well. Yeah.
What have you been doing? Getting some exhibitions?
I did an exhibition in Nottingham, and I'm doing an exhibition in Glasgow, and I just did an exhibition in Berlin. So yeah,
wow!
Yeah.
What sort of art?
Photography.
Oh, you're the photographer.
Yeah. So yeah, nothing.
And what do you photograph?
It's
you sure I can't film you?
No, I'm sorry. I'm just. It's not to do with
because
I mean,
it goes on YouTube. I've got 100 million.
No, I know, and I'm really.
No, carry on. Tell me about it.
I'm really pro the kind of like.
Now this is going to building control to show them why not to knock it. They're going to knock out the walls in the kitchen and the living room, and the toilet and the bathroom. Do you know that?
No, I don't know.
So have a look at their planning portal. And see what they're going to do to this building. Tell all your friends they're going to destroy it.
No, I'm. Yeah, I mean.
This is public housing that your forefathers built, and it's going to be destroyed to be like one-room flats to sell to the gangsters to launder their money.
Yeah.
And he's privatising.
I know, and you know what? I'm complicit in this whole affair, and unfortunately.
So tell us about your art. That's why I'm just telling you why I'm doing this.
Okay. I don't know, just made new bodies of photography.
What have you photographed?
Two young women, and it's about like a precariat in London, basically. That's what the whole precariat.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
It's like a newly formed phrase. It's like not being like a non-tenability. It's like not working class, not middle class. It's like a class that falls in between all those measures. It's like someone who might be, for example, highly educated, doesn't meet the requirements of like certain expectations of I don't know what you might be bequeathed upon you. Like, am I making any sense?
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from, because the kids in Taiwan, the girls are going to insist on wearing shorts too. They had a protest.
Synoptically, yeah.
Yeah. So I've done my whole life on education, giving equal time to every child.
Yeah. No, because you were a primary school teacher.
And that stops the favouritism towards boys putting their hands up at the front and getting all the attention.
Yeah.
So women can get equal attention in the classroom.
Yeah.
because they all have to have 100 stars by the end of the month to get on the outing bus trip. Just to an art gallery. So I know where you're coming from, because I came from the 60s where equality started. So well done, that's great.
You're a Kiwi,
Kiwi, yeah. So that's great that you're doing that, because that's what we need, that encouragement for people to become autonomous. Now, I had a girlfriend here, 30 years, my junior, just followed me here, and we had joint tenancies under the GLC. So when she left, I could stay and get another flatmate. You just assign the joint tenancy. And then the Tower Hamlets took over and they turned it into a family place. And the kids hated it and caused all a lot of trouble. But you're the people that this social housing is for.
Now,
so that we've got every type of person, students, nurses, anyone who wants to be a joint tenant, and it's social housing. Just because it's one of the finest buildings ever built in London or in England for social housing, they want to privatise it, and you know what they're going to do with the money? They're going to build more social housing, but it will be grotty little flats for families. But there's no place for individuals, men and women, to become autonomous agents.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? London no longer engenders like any idea of like.
It's all over. The GLC was destroyed by Thatcher. It's all over. Kids aren't allowed.
It has been for a long time.
The kids used to have.
I'm siphoned through a very particular moment of like pre-economic crisis. So I went to art school under the understanding that maybe you might be successful doing what you're doing, and I don't know, it doesn't work out. But I went away and moved to Scotland for 4 years, but actually, I don't know. Like you've got to take your pig to market and some. Yeah,
but you don't have to wait until you're 40, and then you can start working things out. Well, I didn't know anything until I was 50. I'm 75 now, and I think I know everything.
Yeah. You're quite well preserved for 75.
Thank you, 73. Yeah.
73. They'll put 2 years.
I just made a mistake. So you don't worry, because it's all wasted time in the end, because you have to die.
Yeah. Well, mortality.
And I was saying on my, I'm making comments to the planning people, and they're going to be watching this hopefully, that you need a bath in a flat. Because this is social housing, not for individual rich people who don't need baths. They just have a shower. They just pop in and have a shower, and they don't need a kitchen. They're knocking down the kitchen wall so you can't have a proper kitchen. Because we're born with nappies and we die with nappies. My best friend at 80, he now wears nappies at home because he's shitting all the day long. So you need a bath. You can't have a flat without a bath, and they're going to have a shower without a bath. The whole point of decent homes is to do up the bathrooms and kitchens and renew them, not to gut the flats. Yeah. So thanks for letting me say all this on this video. I hope they get through to the end of it.
Yeah. I mean.
So what's your name, so I can say hello next time?
My name's Matthew.
Matthew, I'm Huey. Nice to know you.
So
keep in touch. Knock on my door on the weekends.
Yeah, sure. I'm like.
Which one are you?
I'm 125, so I'm like this. I'm the single small flat, and
not this one, not the next one,
obviously,
but the next one.
Next one on. Yeah.
125. Okay. Yeah. See you, Matthew. Was it Matthew?
Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
All right. Take care.
Good sorry to hold you up.
No, it's fine.
No. This is going to be interesting for them because
just like hours, like what's happening?
Because we'll be stuffed. We won't be able to get out. There's no free flowing doors. It's breaching the building regulations all over Tower Hamlets. And the front door has been reduced in width, so when 4 people run down here together, they go down the stairs together, 4 together, they get to the front door and it's only got width for 2. So we'll be trapped at the front door, all squeezing through, because it was a double door originally.
How's out width of this, how's the change campaign going? Are you part of that?
No.
No, you're not?
No, I know Rab, and I'm in touch with Rab.
Okay, and how do you feel about that? The change campaign, which is in terms of like, there's this campaign which is like to reach a certain amount of votes to say that this building should meet a certain requirement in terms of social housing. I don't know if you've been.
So I don't know anything about that, but drop a note through my letterbox and I'll get in touch with them because it's very simple. I just discovered this. There's a website on all the legislation. I got it listed in 2000 to stop the plastic walls, and they went and put the plastic walls in after we found something else, because the guy from English Heritage got a bung from the original contractor. So all our lives are in danger. All this plastic underneath is PVC. Anyway, I got it listed, and there's a 1990 listing act, and you can, if a building like this has been run down, it can be bought by the state, by the Secretary of State for Culture, John Whittingham. He can buy this for us. Tracy, his Undersecretary, said she wouldn't. But the Mayor can buy it off the haka. The haka can get all the money, 100 million in one go, because they'll be watching this, by selling it to the people of Tower Hamlets again, and then it can be just painted. That's all it needs, is painting and new tiles. I must show them the missing tiles. So that's the legislation. Because it's listed, it can be bought back by the Mayor of Tower Hamlets and go straight back to social housing. And it will save the poor. Steve Stride must be a wonderful man doing all this work, all this rebuilding everywhere, but he's wasting his money putting new walls in.
Yeah. Just on a level of personal concern, have you had your heating put back on?
Oh, you remember, did I tell you I had it switched off in the ducts?
No. Oh, you've had it switched off?
No, in the ducts they turned the taps off in the ducts.
Right, okay.
And damaged the taps so I couldn't turn them back on when I...
But have you got heating back on in your place yet?
Oh, has it been offered most places, has it?
I think it was just returned to me recently, yeah.
Oh, is it on in your flat?
I mean, I don't know. It's been.
But it has been on, has it?
Then, well, it came on for a couple of days.
So it's not on at the moment.
I don't think so. I was just wondering.
No, mine was on. Mine was on for a day, a week ago.
Okay.
And it has been on.
Yeah, I think that's the same thing. No, but I'm just asking. It's not out of a political.
No.
It's just.
No, it's not on.
I'm just
so I bought new cheap clothes to keep warm.
Yeah.
No, the caretaker about 20 years ago tried to kill me by turning off the water so my water was cold when it came to my flat.
Okay.
And haka didn't even bother to check. I've been complaining year after year. I was freezing in the very cold winters in the snow, and they never went to check the ducts. So now they're facing manslaughter charges.
Okay.
Or willful, attempted manslaughter. Because I found that a friend had a, plumber, and he went in there and he couldn't turn them on. They'd be jammed closed. So that was to kill me. Because twice I nearly died of hypothermia in years past. But thanks for caring about my heat.
No, I mean, I'm just
pop in and see my flat.
No, go on. Yeah, I'm actually really intrigued to see.
Because I want to.
Am I okay to come in?
Yeah, shut the door.
I will, of course.
So this is the wider wallpaper. Osborne and Little is in the stairway of.
These are Nielsen frames, aren't they? Or
they're just cheap. Cheap. So this wallpaper is Osborne and Little, the Minister of Finance. Now I got them for £5 in the sale. So go to their South London sale, and because I had a leak from upstairs because they didn't fix the radiator. I had it all repapered, and this cost the insurance people £100 a roll. So that's Osborne and Little. So it's fantastic to go with my black look. But this is why I'm bringing you down here, is that this is the way to heat a flat. That this has a thermostat in it, so it doesn't just keep pouring out heat. But there's heating wires inside it. And as the marble heats up, it doesn't heat the air, well it does, but it radiates out energy because of the surface. The very surface radiates ultra infrared energy. So you're sitting here and the heat goes straight into your body. But mostly it's just wasted up in the ceiling with hot air coming out of a radiator. So but there's a combi boiler that every flat should have. Out here now we've got the gas outside. It will heat up your water as you turn on your taps. It will heat up your radiators. And it produces electricity that you sell to the grid. So you get your electricity cheap. And then everyone's paying for their own heating.
Well, I don't pay for my heating. My heating just comes through the...
But it's $900 per flat.
Okay.
The heating oil. That's how much it's costing.
Is that okay? Well,
so they're going to try and change it and put a new system in, but I'm telling them not to have a new system, get rid of the central heating, because if they're going to have individual homeowners, they'll all want to pay for their own. They won't want to have to pay for other people's heating, because people leave these doors open and the heat just pours out. So this is what you do. So because of the low, you know how they've turned the vents off for the...
Yeah.
Well, I've got my own central heat. I've got my own vents coming out here.
Yeah.
It's air being sucked out and fresh air being pumped in from a heat exchanger on the roof there. Filtered warm air coming into my flat, fresh air. But I've had, because of the high humidity, it gets up to 70. My dehumidifier's full. It gets to 70, and the carpet's wet to touch.
Okay.
And so I've got... well, it's unhealthy because you've got bed mites and bugs, but I've got infested with carpet
mites.
Carpet bug, moths.
Okay.
And they've eaten holes in all my carpets.
They've gone mad.
So I've just emailed my landlord saying I want my money back for new carpets, please. So that's what happens when you turn off the ventilation. So this is meant to be sucking air out 24 hours a day. There's 3 vents on the roof sucking out air, so fresh air comes in the gaps in the windows, and then you've got a healthy flat. But people dry their clothes here. They have high humidity, and so we've had bed bugs throughout the whole building. So no one knows anything. They're going to knock this wall out. It's unbelievable. What would I do without all these cupboards? What do I want the TV going on when I'm cooking and eating in the living room, in the kitchen? And if there's a family here of 5 people, how are they going to live in here and live in there at the same time? With the noise of the TV or doing homework in here? Or vice versa? So the people they've got designing it, and they're people like you know, architects and designers who've come up with this idea of knocking out the wall, haven't thought it through. They just think open plan, the new way. Because that's how the Barbican was built in their towers, open plan.
Are these walls not supporting in any way?
No, they're not, no.
Okay. So how many supporting walls are there per, do you know?
I don't think the internal walls are.
Any of them? I'm sure they are. There must be.
Do you think so?
Yeah, because that's the whole way brutalism is predicated on. It's like a set of cards. It's like, you know, there's two pins on every wall, and you put 2 pins together, drop them in, drop the next one in, drop the next one in, and that's why so much of this architecture that wasn't word would be, but anyway, there were so many bad examples of this kind of thing, and it was knocked down because the British made it, but Goldfinger was a little bit more engaged, and I think the pins dropped in accordingly. So then that's therefore why this building has stayed up so long. Also, the fact that it's so hulking great big, right on the motorway, it's quite difficult to knock it down, I guess. But I guess the infrastructure now would be, with of it being, you know, a really credible building, you can build up hoarding around it to knock it down. I mean, not that you want to hear that, but you know, I suppose that's how, It's only 40 years old, halfway through its life. Now, the life of a building is usually 30 years. Is that the expectation of how the life of the lifing of a building is 80 years, but that's just for the walls. What year was it built, finished though? 66 or something. So it's so it's over half its life of 80 years. So that would be the ambition for it to be 80 years. So they're going to rebuild the walls to make it another 120 years, to sell another at least 120 years. But as you say, everything in central London now is built with an idea of permanency until, I don't know, London fills up with water or whatever. No, commercial buildings are built to last 30 years. Okay. Domestic for 80, but it's just the exterior walls. Okay. So anyway, they're going to double the value of my flat. So I'm happy. And if they kick out all the tenants and they have drug dealers laundering their money by buying flats and they don't live here,
we'll all buy the freehold together, and then we'll double our flats again.
What do you? Can I just ask what you want to do in terms of when they start to do the work? Are you happy vacating the property, or?
Well, I said if they paid my rent to me personally, and put the 4 years' rent in a solicitor's account, so they didn't stop paying the rent, because you can't trust them, because people have left thinking they can come back, and then they're told they can't come back. Or then I can go on holiday to New Zealand at £400 a week. But if I give them the keys, and this is where everyone makes the mistake, as soon as you give your keys over, you've lost your tenancy.
Is that in law? Is that how it works?
So once they've got your keys, you voluntarily vacated. Now a leaseholder's got a contract for 120 years, and I probably won't be able to remember. It's called. It will come to my head in a minute. But there's a legal concept that if I move out and rent somewhere else, and I hand them the keys so they can get access to the flat to do the works, they don't have to let me back in, and they don't have to compensate me.
When are they realistic about committing to the work anyway?
Well, they won't get planning permission until February, and I'll block it, and then I'll appeal it. So it's going to be years and years and years. You'll be here.
I mean, I'm not in a it's not. I mean, it's not about. Yeah, I mean, it's not on my. I'm just asking it purely out of your situation, not born out of me being.
So two guys, 122 and 111, were told that they're going to get a charge of 135,000 if they stay for the works.
Yeah.
When they're capped at 10, and no one told them that 10,000, because we're right to buy leaseholders. We only paid 30,000 for them in '88, and so they left with the fear of a compulsory purchase order if they didn't sell up.
Sorry if you just turn the.
Sorry.
It's just quite early.
Sorry, I wasn't filming it. So and they got 150,000 plus 30,000 damages. When I've had this valued at 400,000 plus the heights another 100,000. The average price of a flat in Poplar is over 500,000 plus the height. Plus another 100,000 for being listed.
Well, it's going to be great. It's
so
going
to
be ridiculous.
So these guys,
the ambition is
got robbed.
Yeah,
they got robbed by being blackmailed to leave, and they handed in their keys. And do you know? Did they ever see the valuer's report? No, it got lost in the post. So he would have valued it at 300,000, and they were told it's worth 150,000. They did that to me in 1988, and I sold it to them. They wouldn't give me the money of the contract. But they wouldn't show me their valuation in the report of 155,000. And when I phoned up the valuer, he couldn't believe how low it was, but he wouldn't tell me what he had valued it at. And they won't. If you withhold a document, that's 10 years imprisonment.
Yeah.
They're fraudulent people, these people.
No, I completely.
And so all the people they've bullied to leave have been lied to, because there's a document they have to prove.
Is there any recuperation for those people?
Yeah, 100,000 each. So tell them to knock on my door, because they claim that the works will be dangerous for people if they live here. Now, there has to be a document on how they're going to carry out the works safely for the people doing the works and for anyone else. So we can't be endangered while the work's done. We've had those walls replaced in one day, with asbestos having to be taken out. So it only interrupts you for a few days. Having walls, and knocking down walls, you don't have to have the works. This is being done under decent homes, and you can refuse the works, and the works are done after you leave.
Yeah.
So by lying to them, saying they had to leave because of the way the works are going to be carried out, will be exposed in a document that they have to prove, to show that there'll be no endangerment of the workmen or anyone else. And if they do try and make it look dangerous, health and safety will block the works from being carried out, because they can't endanger workmen. So it's a big lie. It's the biggest blackmailing ever.
No, I know it.
An unwarranted demand with menaces is blackmail, as well as that they've all been unlawfully evicted. Now, once it's exposed, it's going to be exposed, because I'm just writing this now, because it has to be in the planning department on Saturday. It's all being exposed. So it will be stopped. The works will be stopped by planning, and this will be exposed. Now the mayor can buy the building, and everyone can come back, and then they can sue the haka, or if he sells them off, and they've got proof that there was no reason for them to leave, they can sue for 100 grand because they've lost their right to buy. And under the right to buy, the government gives you 100 grand discount. So that's like money that they give you on top of what you have to pay to buy your flat. So they can all sue for their £100,000 right to buy discount. So tell them all, they're all rich. Just put a note through my door and I'll keep them in touch. But no, there's nothing you can do except tell everyone to go to planning, phone everyone, email everyone tonight to go to planning and put in an appeal tomorrow.
I also, I'm also just...
Because it ends on the 10th. Yeah. And that will stop the works being done. And if he can't do the works and he knows he can sell to the mayor, he'll sell out. Because he's broke, he's insolvent, he's borrowed 150 million, and I've just been RAB, you know RAB, the big... Yeah, he just given me some information on the haka talking to the GLA, saying they don't want any of the 150,000 grant that's available to them because they're already over mortgaged. They've already borrowed too much, so they don't want to borrow any more because they have to put up their flats as collateral to get these grants. So I've got it in writing now that they're on the edge of... And I've already reported them to the government. They've got people that look into companies that are going bust, the insolvency department, and they're looking into them. And if they're trading insolvently, they'll be declared bankrupt. Yeah. So I'm getting rid of the haka. I'm locking them up for fraud and blackmail. They're all finished. I've got you can download the writ for the Crown Court. You just fill their names in, fraud, for withholding information or whatever, unlawful eviction, whatever it is. Fraud by deception. That happened to all the tenants. Get it stamped for 50 quid. It used to be 50 quid, probably 100 quid, and post it to them. And then they have to come to court. You don't have to go to the police or the public prosecutor. You do it yourself, and then they've got to say why did they do it. And if they don't have a good, you're allowed to do things if you've got a good reason. But if they haven't got a good reason, they go down. Take them down. 10 years. Now tell everyone to do that. And we'll make a lesson, and I'll film it, having them taken down. I'll film it in the court. Take them down. So they'll never come out of prison. They'll be away. Steve and Andrew will be there for life if everyone does it. Because they were robbed of their lovely homes. And you as social tenants, even though you're coming through a secondary way of renting it, subletting it, after a year you become a social tenant. I don't know if that's the law, but it's...
I don't know if it is. I think we've got a very...
No. Don't listen to that nonsense that's in your head about your tenancy. I was in a flat in Sloane Street, and it was a licensed flat because he came in every week, did the floor, vacuumed the floors, and gave me a sheet. So I couldn't stay there if I wanted to. He could get rid of me at any time. This is a license, not a tenancy. But after I paid the rent a number of times, it becomes a tenancy. Okay. And if you've been paying social rent for a few months, you'll become a social tenant. It doesn't matter who your landlord is. The freeholder is the same freeholder for everybody. It's just that you're paying the rent through another route. So you can all claim right to buy. So all right to the haka and say what's the value on my flat, and they have to give you the value, and you have that right to buy for 3 years at that value. But then, because then if they do force you to leave by locking you out when they put the builder's door up, you can claim your 100,000 for your loss of right to buy without having to buy it. You get 100 grand. So I've told everyone, but no one. You're the first person to listen to me.
I know, but no. I mean, I have listened, but I'm just, to be honest, like just the information that we're given. I'm just like, I'm so complicit with it, obviously, because I feel.
Well, you're stopping kids from having a place to sleep at night. They're in hostels everywhere. They're in hotels. They're doing their homework in landings.
I'm not personally stopping.
Yes, because you're holding up a flat.
Do you think
unless you treat yourself as a social tenant?
Do you think
if you tell me you're a social tenant, you deserve that, and you have the right to stay there after they get rid of your. Don't ever leave. Never hand in your keys ever, unless you get a summons, and then my lawyer will represent you, and he'll keep the flat for you because there's no reason for you to leave. But never hand in your keys unless the judge tells you to. Now, I can't believe 100 people have handed in their keys without going to court first.
Yeah, I know, but because people don't know what their rights are.
Well, of course they know. That's the 1977 Protection from Eviction Harassment Act. Yeah. 2 years imprisonment for threatening to kick you out or harass you, turning off your heating or whatever it is they do. But I'm glad you've got a group working on it. Well done.
It's too.
Well done.
But,
yeah. Well done. There you go.
I have done some exhibitions in my flat. You should come. There's one again in a month's time. You've got the beautiful white glass. Mine has been overpainted, which is a real shame.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a real shame because and you can't. They painted it either side, and it's just like you have to put nitrous over it to get it off again.
Ah.
But yeah, alas, I mean it's just nice features like that.
Yeah, lets the light into your living room the hall during the day. Yeah. But they're they're going to seal off the lights and put wall lights on. Okay. So you won't be able to have spotlights. That's what they've done to Carroldale House. He's a nutter. The nutter, they're called mods. If you don't want to use a terrible colloquialism, the way the professionals say in their journals, the 20th Century Society, to criticise these idiots, you call them mods. Because they have no knowledge. They just get these jobs out of nowhere, and then they think they're somebody because they're in the job and they exercise this control with no knowledge. So you've studied, obviously, so you've got an understanding of where you're coming from.
Sort of. Well, when I haven't seen you in ages. Last time I bumped into you.
Well, I've been there day and night, typing, emailing everybody. Yeah. But the last night's tomorrow night, the 10th, when all the planning information you want to give them. So email everyone tonight and tell them to put it in by the 10th. Yeah. Their objections to what they're going to do to it, so they can easily see it on the planning portal. Of they're going to knock out the walls. But to knock out that was just a health hazard because the viruses come out of the poo into the air and will get ingest it. Yeah. It's crazy. But he's going to move the toilet over a foot, and that's how he's going to cut off the waste pipes to get rid of everybody.
Oh dear.
But
What do you call that?
He's going to cut the waste pipes so no one can live here. Now my architect, because I've got professional friends, I'm from Chelsea in New Zealand. My father was the chief executive of Littleton, so I've got that brain. And my architect says, Thames Water owns that pipe, that waste pipe. Thames Water has a contract all the way down to the street and me, and they can't. The freeholder only has ground rent control. He can do the walls without me stopping him, but he can't touch inside. And he can't touch that waste pipe because I have a contract with Thames Water. Now that's why you need professionals to tell you these sort of things, because you'd never think of them yourself. So you just tell them, get out, you're not touching my waste pipe, you're not shifting my toilet. Because the owners of the building are the occupiers. Yeah. And that's what you've got to get into their heads. That the occupier of a building, whether it's a tenant or a leaseholder, they own the building. Yeah. The structure. Because you own the common parts in tandem with everyone else. The freeholder only has a responsibility. Now, he has a fiduciary duty not to hurt you financially. Mm-hmm. So if he forces you to leave and you have to run up all these expenses in another flat somewhere else, you've got him. You can sue him because of his financial duty. He failed in his duty, for judiciary duty. So that's 72 years of experience. I'm just passing it on to you in 10 minutes.
I know, yeah.
But I have to pass it on to you because it's my duty. I'll be dead. I've had my first stroke. So
Have you?
I'll be dead. I'm finalising my will.
How did you have your stroke?
I'm sitting in my bedroom here like that. In the corner, I never do that. I'm sitting.
Yeah.
I went all. No, it might not be a stroke. It might be just nerves or something. I hope it's just nerves.
Well, if you ever need to call on someone.
125.
125. I'm here for the time being.
So you're here forever?
Well, I don't know.
No, for as long as you choose to.
I mean, yeah,
because
maybe I might leave the UK for
yeah.
as it is. But
well, as long as you've got a cheap rent, or
well,
subsidised
yeah.
rent.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Alright.
But tell everyone never to hand in their keys unless the court tells them to. Even your swamp people can't force you to hand your keys in. Unless they take you to court.
Alright, see you soon.
Rab's still fighting. He got unlawfully evicted. So just hang in there and forget them. Enjoy your art.